As the wildfire season gets underway in California, memories of the devastating losses of the last 2 years are still fresh. In a new book, a writer tells his experience in a format that might surprise you. Here again is John Yang with a report that's part of our continuing coverage of arts and culture, Canvas.
Yeah, these are all going to the same place, right, in the new house?
In Santa Rosa in Northern California, it's moving day for award-winning writer and cartoonist Brian Fees and his wife Karen.
You want to give them any padding here?
They're leaving this rental property to live in a house of their very own for the first time since October 9th, 2017. That was the day their home was devoured by the Tubbs Fire. It destroyed more than 5,600 structures over 37,000 acres and killed 22 people. At the time, it was the most destructive fire in California history.
It's a dividing line in our lives. Our lives will always be split into before the fire and after the fire.
One of Fee's first chores after the blaze was buying things he needed.
Shoes, socks, a shirt, and art supplies.
Cheap paper, Sharpies, and highlighters.
And you started drawing the story of what you'd just been through.
Right.
Why?
I felt compelled to. I realized that I was an eyewitness to an extraordinary event. I'd lived through something historic, and I wanted to tell people about it. Somebody else later said it was my way of bearing witness, and I don't think I could put any better than that. I'd seen this thing. I needed to tell the story.
He quickly produced 18 pages and posted them online. In the week after the fire, it had more than 500,000 views.
On Monday, my house disappeared.
PBS station KQED in San Francisco produced an Emmy-winning animated version.
I smell smoke.
That's just the Calistoga fire. It's 20 miles from here.
The sky is glowing.
And now it's a 154-page hardcover book, a fire story. Published by Abrams Comic Arts, it chronicles the first months of his rise from the ashes.
Comics excel at metaphor and symbolism. So you don't have to use words to explain the metaphor. You just draw it. You show people. There's a 2-page spread in the fire story book about how we felt like the fire had become a black hole in our lives, and we orbited this gravitational well of the black hole. I don't have to talk about that. The reader instantly gets that, and I don't have to say another word about it.
The same simple directness is in Fee's favorite drawing in the book, showing him searching through the ashes of his house.
We'd really gone through the entire house, had more or less lost hope of finding anything else, but felt like we had to finish the job, because you just never know if one more shovelful is going to turn up that thing that you really treasured. And I'm standing in the middle of this blankness, and the caption on this page says, "I am uprooted."
A fire story tells more than just Fee's own tale.
We're coming up here on the right on the house of my friend Jerry Dunn, whose fire story I told in the book.
He recounts the experiences of some of the others who lost their homes, and also explains the science of wildfires.
You can see down into a valley, the valley that the fire came up. Looking around, everything you can see for 360 degrees around. You can do a complete circle. Everything here you can see burned that night.
Fee says writing the book helped him deal with his trauma, but may have had an unintended consequence.
You work on a book like this for a year or 2 or 3, and you sort of have to stay in that headspace. You have to keep thinking about the fire. You have to keep it fresh. You have to keep reliving it in order to write and draw about it.
Do you think you've held on to it too long?
Well, and you know, for example, now I'm doing a book tour, and so I get to go talk to people every night about my house burning down. And I don't mind that. I'm honored to do that. I understand that's also the job, but it kind of keeps you thinking about it in a way you might not otherwise.
You're right there in the moment with Brian.
One of the stops on the book tour was the Cartoon Art Museum in San Francisco. Some original drawings for the book are on display there through July 15th. Museum curator Andrew Farago.
Being in Northern California, this show is really important to us. You read about this or you see it on the news, and it's hard to come to grips with it or put it in terms that you can understand. This is something wonderful about comics, the healing power of it, where you can talk about things that are very personal that have happened to you.
Fee says the heart of his family story is told in 4 panels.
The first panel is Karen and I in bed, and I'm sleeping away. I'm snoring. Karen opens her eyes, and she says, "I just want to go home." And I reply, "Yeah, me too." It's such a simple thing to want to be home. And it's really all we wanted, and it's the one thing, the one simple thing that we couldn't have.
After a year of construction prolonged by material and labor shortages, Brian and Karen Fees have a new house.
This is kitchen stuff, right?
Yep.
It's on the same lot as their old one, but meets new, tougher, fire-resistant building standards.
It's the red tea kettle.
Yeah.
Now, they say, their task is to make it a home.
Now we're home.
Now we're home.
For the PBS NewsHour, I'm John Yang in Santa Rosa, California.
Helping all of us have some understanding of what they went through.